Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be Survivor 42 Episode 5 recap. We're going to talk about the tribes, who's starting to not vibe, who's in danger, what may be coming up in the next episode. We'll be right back. People are acting on a whole nother level on that. Can't wait to see that karma train coming through. Choo-choo. Mood of the day. Really? You gotta give us more credit than that. Some people, buckle up, buttercup. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Welcome back, everyone, to Mona's Take. I am your host, Mona Rose, and we're here to talk about everything reality TV. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything I've got coming up this summer. I want to thank all my new subscribers. We have hit 1,000. Actually, I think we're at 1,100 now, which still blows my mind. We just got to get those hours watched up so you can get your girl monetized. Anyway, let's get into last night's episode. There was a lot going on. It started out when Ika got back to camp. Rocksroy felt blindsided because he thought everybody was voting for Tori. And so he was like, why didn't you guys let me in on it? And basically Romeo, and I like Romeo. Romeo's playing a good game, I think. Basically, he said, look, we know you're a man of your word. We know you said you were voting out Tori. We saw what was going on with Swati. She told me I was her number one. And Drea says, she told me I was her number one. And Romeo is like, she told everybody that they were her number one. She was playing underneath the scenes. She was playing hard. Nobody noticed it. And that was scarier to them than the devil they know. Everybody knows Tori will backstab. Everybody knows Tori will lie. So it's like, do you pick the one who's openly playing the game and you can see where they're going? Or the one that's behind the scenes, trying to manipulate everyone? So I think they made the right call on that. We shall see in the coming weeks. But I think I would have went the same way. It goes to Taku. And the girls are really getting on Jonathan's last nerve. And I'm sure a lot of it had to do with editing, but he is aggravated because he's saying that the girls never stop talking. Like, they're constantly just chattering about nothing. That means anything to anyone just to be talking. We see a scene where he's cutting some bamboo and Marianne walks in the path and she jumps back. And she says, you hit me. My toe was underneath the bamboo. Now, we couldn't see how close it was. And we all know Marianne goes to the extreme with everything. Whether it's happy, whether it's pissed off, because that's actually the only time I've really seen her mad. And she was frustrated more than anything. And she's like, I wish he wasn't such a shield. We would just vote him out. But he's a big shield and we have to keep him. So it was kind of cute to see her get a little frustrated. They went back and forth on whether he hit her and her walking in his path and him working in her path and going back and forth. And you can just see they're getting underneath each other's skin. It gets to the point where he's like, I've just got to walk off. So you see him and Lindsay going to get water. Well, Marianne and him just had that little spat, so she's automatically getting paranoid and saying, I wonder if they're talking about me. I wonder if they're going off to talk about me. And she was right, they did. Jonathan was like, she's got to go. I'm over it. If we go to tribal, she needs to be the next one to go. That she's just too dramatic on everything. Then we got a Vadi. A body, I think is how you say it. I still haven't got that one down yet. All of them were sitting on the beach, and Daniel decides that he's going to try to fish. And you see him getting all the fishing equipment together. And Mike says, do not lose the spear. We all know Daniel likes to lose stuff. So he's out there and he's trying to fish, and he's not doing any good at all. But he's out there quite a while. And I believe it was Chanel was like, he's out there swimming and he's out there fishing, but yet he's telling us that he can't compete in any of the games, in any of the immunity challenges, because of his arm. You remember, he threw his arm out the first thing, and he hasn't sitting out of a lot of challenges. So they're like, yeah, you know, he says he can't do anything physical because of his arm. He's out there swimming, fishing, you know, but he can't swim in a challenge. Now, in my opinion, Daniel is known to lie. Daniel is known to play people. But swimming around a little bit here and there and taking your time fishing versus, say, pulling a boat in the water like Jonathan had to do, that's two different things. But is Daniel milking his injury a little bit? I think so, because I don't think he's that good, and he doesn't want to be in the challenges because he doesn't want to be known as the weakest link. So Betty finally finds the third immunity idol. Now, in the promos, everybody thought that it was Tori, and everybody was all up in arms that Tori was going to be the one to find it, and that CBS spilled the beans with the promo, and that they shouldn't have let us know that, and this and that. Come to find out, Tori's not the one that found the idol. Drea is. Now let's talk about that for a minute. Yeah, CBS got us good. So Drea has the advantage that she got on day one, where when all three of them are played, it's an extra vote. If one person gets voted out and the other two are played, it's still a vote. If two people are voted out and only one left and that's played, it's an immunity idol. Well, then she also has this she also has this immunity idol that she just found. It's a 3-way immunity idol. And she also has an extra vote. She is Survivor rich right now. And I'm hoping that she keeps that very close to her vest. Because if I'm looking at her and she's got all that, I'm fixing to try to find out how to blindside her. I'm fixing to try to figure out how to get her out of here and walk those 3 advantages out the door with her. So I hope she keeps it quiet. But yeah, CBS tricked us. It wasn't Tori, it was Drea. And I think if she plays that right, I think she can go far. They debated on, when she found it, her and Romeo, debated on if they get up to the immunity challenge and the 3 phrases aren't said. Of course, it's not active and she doesn't have a vote. But she tells Romeo, I have an extra vote. I can slide you that extra vote and you can vote for me even though I can't vote. That was a good idea. Did not think about that. And when she said it, I'm like, ooh, if she can stay under the radar or win some immunity challenges, I see her going to the end. She is very, very strategic. Probably the most strategic player I've seen on Survivor in a long time. Then it flips over and Mike's like, he's talking to the tribe. Everybody knows that he has the item. And he's saying again, I'm not going to say the phrase because if we can go into the merge and nobody knows I have the idol, it automatically becomes active and nobody knows I have it. So it's a tool for us. So they're still talking back and forth on whether he is going to say his phrase when he gets up there, if he's going to activate his idol. So they get to the immunity challenge. And is it Drea? I think Drea says her phrase first. And then Marianne. And then we're looking to see if Mike's going to say his. You know, he's already said he's probably not going to say his. Well, he changes his mind. He activates his idol. Not because he needs his idol, but because he needs his vote. To him, that is more important than anything else right now. It's the fact that he doesn't have a vote at Tribal Council. So he goes ahead and he activates his. So all 3 idols now for Drea, Marianne, and Mike are active. They all have immunity idols. The immunity challenge is immunity and reward challenge. The rewards are tarps. First place gets a big tarp. Second place gets a tarp, but it's a smaller one. But still, it's some cover. And of course, third goes to Tribal Council. So the challenge that they have to do is they have to get up to a ramp. It's a rope ramp. And then they have to roll down the ramp and get off. So they're lifting players up because it's not something you can just grab onto and climb. It's pretty tall. And so they're lifting players up there. It gets to Drea. Drea jumps up, grabs that thing, and basically is pulling herself up before somebody starts helping her over. That girl is stout. She has some muscle. So they climb this rope ramp, they roll down, they get off, and there's a rope puzzle. We've seen it before. There's 3 ropes, and they're tangled, I can't even say it. And it's got blocks for each rope, and you have to move them around, and you have to untangle them to get this key. You get the key, you unlock the machete, you cut the rope, it releases the sandbags. It's the big yo-yo, body yo-yo that they pull back and they hit targets and knock them off. Taco did not do very good in this trial, in this immunity challenge. They got over the net fine. Jonathan took a real hard hit, which kind of concerned me, but he came back and didn't look like anything was wrong. But Omar was on the puzzle trying to release the key. Omar was still on the puzzle trying to release the key when the other teams were at the yo-yo trying to hit targets. And Jonathan was so frustrated. Lindsay was trying to help Omar and tell him what to do to get to it. He finally gets to it with one hit. Jonathan cuts the rope and he starts doing the sandbags. So by the time he gets through doing the sandbag, or he gets to the sandbags, Ika has already won immunity. They were the first one. And they flew through it. Tori hit that rope with the machete, and it was one hack. It was like, bam, I'm done. Out of here. Or maybe 3 hacks, but it was quick. So they win immunity. So it's between Taku and Taki. And in true Jonathan fashion, he comes from behind and he wins second place immunity. So he saves the tribe yet again. Now, if I'm other tribe members, I'm looking at this guy and going, he's a beast and we've got to get him out of here. And he has no advantages. None. I'm afraid that when they do this tribal swap, that he's going to be one of the first people voted out because everybody sees what a beast he is in the challenges. So, Ika, because they won the immunity challenge, they have to pick one person from Taki to go on the summit. And they picked Lydia. And then they have to pick one more person. It can be from any tribe. And it's a telling sign they chose Roxroy instead of Tori. And you think that Tori, Hai, and Lydia are working together, they would have chose Tori to go. Because it has to be somebody that hasn't went yet, so they couldn't do Drea. So I was kind of confused that they chose Roxroy, which tells me that they don't trust Tori as much as what they're trying to make her feel like they do. So Roxroy and Lydia go to the summit, and both of them are keeping all of their information very close to the vest. They're both trying to dig to find out what's going on at the other tribe, but they're both not giving out any information, which to me shows the loyalty for both of them for their own tribes. So Daniel and Chanel, while Lydia's gone, come back to camp, and they ask to talk to everybody one-on-one because they know that their names are on the chopping block. Mike is telling Chanel that he's writing down Daniel's name. Now, at the same time, Daniel is talking to Hai, and Hai is telling Daniel that he's writing down Chanel's name. So I think that they know what they're doing, but they're trying to keep both of them feeling comfortable so that they don't play their shot in the dark. Lydia comes back. Actually, let's get back to the summit. I kind of skipped over that. So Lydia and Roxroy are at the summit. They're not giving each other any information. They go down, and comes time to risk your vote or protect your vote. Both Roxroy and Lydia decide to protect their vote. Lydia, because she knows they're going to tribal council and she needs her vote. Roxroy, I would have been more inclined to go ahead and risk my vote, knowing that she was going to tribal council. But again, he chose to protect the tribe, protect his vote. As he says, that's the most important thing that you have in the game. And that's true. So they both protect their vote, and they go back to camp. Now, when they get back to camp, they're not talking a whole lot about the summit. Now, they do say, she says, just like Jenny said, you know, you can risk your vote or protect your vote, and I chose to protect my vote. But they're not telling each other the pros and cons of that. So I don't know if they just haven't figured it out yet, that they can talk to each other about it, or what. Because that would be a way to be like, okay, if you go to summit, you can tell the other person, this is the deal. You can protect your vote or risk your vote. Or what are you going to do? And I'll do the opposite. You know, if you are going to risk your vote, I'm going to protect my vote. And if you're going to protect your vote, I'm going to risk my vote. And they kind of work together to get some more advantages into the game. But we haven't seen them do that thus far. So we get to tribal council, and of course Daniel starts just kissing Mike's ass, praising Mike, talking about what a good friend he is, and that even outside the game they're going to be friends later, and he's just a people person. And Mike's like, yeah, you know, it's like the fire department. You have a guy that screws up, you don't just kick him out of the fire department. He makes amends, and you have stuff to work together, and you're still friends outside, whatever. So they're going back and forth, and Daniel's just praising Mike. Well, Chanel pops up and says, even now Daniel's playing the game. You know, he's giving Mike the old pat on the back, and she pats Mike on the back. And it's like he's playing the game right now, sucking up and kissing up, basically. And so I thought that was kind of funny. She so called him out. And I was afraid for Chanel, because I seriously was afraid Chanel was the one going home. So they get to the boat, and nobody did the shot in the dark. If Daniel and Chanel both know that their name is up on the chalking block, why would you not do the shot in the dark? Other than the fact that you do have to lose your vote if you don't win. But if both of their names are up on the chopping block anyway, their vote's not going to count. Really. So they get to the vote, and it's 2-2, 2 for Daniel, 2 for Chanel, and they're waiting for that 5th vote to see who's going home, right? Wrong. The 5th vote was for Mike. What the hell? Who voted for Mike? So it's a tie. So they have to vote again. At that point, Daniel is voted out. Now, I normally watch the previews to see what's going to happen next week, kind of get a feel for it. But I was extremely excited to watch the preview so I could see who the hell voted for Mike. And it ended up being Chanel. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that, I think. I think that maybe she thought that everybody was voting for Daniel and that he may play his shot in the dark. And if he played his shot in the dark, then she wanted somebody else's name to be on there to kind of protect her. It could have been Lydia and High said, if you want to show your loyalty to us, when it comes to tribal council tonight, vote for Mike. We don't know. I'm interested to see next week's to see if they even go into it or if they just gloss over it. But I was very confused by her vote. Now, he can't get mad at her if he finds out it was her because he put her name down after he told her he was putting Daniel's name down. So he voted for her and she voted for him. It's turnabout's fair play, right? So anyway, I'm so glad that Chanel stayed because I really thought that she was the one going home. And I like her. I think if her and Drea get together, ooh, honey, I think they can take over the game. We'll see how this next week goes. We saw the preview for next week. It's a 2-hour episode. And he tells everyone to drop their buffs. And they're like, oh, it's the merge. And he's like, nah, not really. So, I figure they're going down to 2 teams, which makes sense because there's only 4 people on each team right now. So, they go down to 6 and 6. Now, are they going to bring back the hourglass? Do you remember from season 41? Where they went down to 2 teams? One whole tribe was safe from immunity. And the other 6, or it was maybe not 2 tribes, it was 1. But anyway, 6 people were safe from tribal council. And the other 6 were up for grabs for tribal. But the winning side had to pick someone from the losing side to go on a journey. Well, it's not the summit journey. It's where Erica went and stayed all night on a different island. And she had a choice to make. She could flip the entire game. She could reverse the immunity challenge. So the winners would become the losers and the losers would become the winners. The ones who were safe would be not safe. The ones who were not safe would not be safe, which turned the whole game around. Are they going to do that again? I'm assuming they're doing everything else the same as they did on 41. So I'm assuming that they're going to do something very similar, if not the same exact thing. I like this twist because you don't see it coming. You're all living the high life. You're safe from the tribal council. You can't go home. You just come off a big win. And then all of a sudden, that prick of the balloon and all the air just comes out of you. And you're like, oh crap, what just happened? I personally liked that twist. A lot of people didn't, but I did. So tell me what you think in the comments about last night's episode. Are you excited about some type of merge? What do you think about the hourglass? Do you think we'll see that again? And if so, is it something you like? Is it something you don't like? And Miss Drea, I have to say she is the VIP because she is Survivor rich right now. I just hope she can keep it together. Who's your favorite? Who do you want to see go to the end? Who do you think's making good moves? Who do you think's making bad moves? Tell me down in the comments, and I will see you guys next week for the 6th episode. Have a good night, and as always, much love.